Why don't you grow your hair out again? You're always gonna be a girl.
I'm not a girl.
Then what's the point?
Why would you do that?
Because I could.
You okay?
Yeah, Sebastian, what's wrong?
I mean, Cameron's just been bullying me a lot lately and it's getting out of hand.
Guys, that sucks. How should we stop?
You have to give a way to get him to stop. Now.
There's the presentation we were assigned in class today. We could do that on the LGBTQ community.
That's great! Cameron's in all of our classes.
Sure to get the message to them.
Definitely.
People in this world have the right to love who they want to love and be who they want to be, regardless of societal norms and traditions.
And it's important to know that people in the LGBTQ plus community are being bullied for this, and we want to live in a world where that isn't the case.
Do we even have Sebastian? I'm sorry for everything I did.
What do you mean you're sorry?
I didn't understand what LGBTQ was before, and now that I've heard and now I understand that I was wrong, and I am sorry.
Okay.
Oh, look, the fashion show. You should sign up for it.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, how much could it hurt to try it?
Fine.
There we go.
My name is Lee Wingfield, and I was part of the LGBTQ plus vignette.
All right, hi Lee. So I'm going to ask a few questions. The first one is, what is the one thing you learned about your topic?
I learned that there's a lot more LGBTQ representing people in our school than I thought there was.
Okay. And has your understanding of your said topic changed?
No, I still thoroughly believe that LGBTQ plus people are equal to any other group.
Okay. How do you see your experience reflected in your vignette?
I believe my experience was reflected greatly in my vignette. I was extremely happy with how the group collaborated and how everybody worked together so well, and I believe it truly showed in our vignette.
Okay, thank you for being here with us, and I'll see you around.
Zoe, you're late again. Is that a shirt with no sleeves? I said, is that a shirt with no sleeves? You know sleeveless shirts are not school policy. You're gonna have to go back and go to the office and get a shirt with sleeves.
Yeah, but didn't you just see Frank walk in with the same type of shirt?
Well, Frank's is a basketball jersey. Is yours a basketball jersey?
Well, no, but how come basketball jerseys get a pass, but I don't know?
You know, you make a good point. Here's a pass, and you know I don't make the rules, but I'll go to the principal's office and you go to class and I will check about this policy. Better hurry.
Good question. A war on a strategy. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. Okay, after lunch? Yeah. I'll catch you then.
So, what's your name and what group are you in?
I'm Jocelyn, and I'm part of the feminism group.
Okay. What are some things you learned about feminism in your group?
I learned there are several ways people act sexist in modern society because it's actually shocking what people will let slide when it comes to sexual harassment and things like that. It's horrible.
Has your understanding of the topic changed, and if it has, how?
It definitely has changed because before I was like, I felt it was a very strange topic before. That's why I chose the group, was because, I knew feminism was a thing that was going on in society. Feminism needed to get better. And after this, I've seen people's experiences. I've seen things people have imagined experiencing. And it's horrible what happens in society.
How do you see your self-experience reflected in your vignette?
Well, in the vignette, Zoe, she gets just coded for wearing spaghetti straps when another kid was walking by in a basketball thing. But when I was in elementary school, the AP kids, they got to do this thing for Women's History Month, and it was where they kind of acted as wax figurines in a wax museum that was held in the library. They chose a female historical figure at random that they dressed as and acted as wax figures of in the wax museum thing. And so I joined it third grade. I was an AP kid. And so I picked Tori Murden McClure. Tori Murden McClure, she was the first woman to cross the Atlantic Ocean alone, roll across it actually. And so she wore spaghetti straps when she was in a boat. So my mom made a boat out of duct tape and cardboard. I wore spaghetti straps. I go in there, and the teacher was telling me, like Zoe's teacher told her, to squish the spaghetti straps for a t-shirt, and that's what happened to me. And so I kind of went, you know what, let's try it out.
Thank you for doing the interview.
No problema.
To be honest, we don't care.
Hurry up, guys! We're gonna get it right. Loser! Boy, what you doing? Freak! Oh my god. This is great.
Get over here. What are you doing?
Help! This noise. Help! What are you doing in someone's locker?
It wasn't my fault.
Oh yeah, excuses.
No, I'm not making excuses. They actually
Okay, one more word and that's gonna be a referral. Unacceptable.
URAV. He's so little.
He's all set.
Good afternoon, students. As a part of the announcements today, we'd like to thank all of the models who signed up for the fashion show. If you can please report to the auditorium. Patty Lau, Zoe White, Sebastian Broad, Gaurav Little, and Jamila Brown. Please report to the auditorium.
Girl, they called your name.
What did they call my name?
Yeah, girl, they called your name.
Who called my name?
Go to the auditorium.
What?
Duh.
Music by
What's your name and what group were you in?
So my name is Gaurav Barve and I'm from the mental health group.
Okay, what is one thing you learned about mental health in your group?
One thing I learned about mental health was that I knew it affected a lot of people, but just the sheer amount of people that it affected was much greater than I had imagined. I mean, like, seeing it into statistics, I mean, 1 out of every 2 people has depression. So, I mean, like, out of my friends, like, there's some of my friends who could also be affected by this. I could be affected by it.
Has your understanding of the topic changed, and if it has, how?
Yeah, so my understanding of the topic has changed quite a bit. 1, because I see that a lot more people are affected by it, and 2, that I see, like, the way we treat them really does affect, like, their mental health and how they view their own issues for mental health. So if, like, bullying somebody over depression can make it worse, or it can start a panic attack, which is really bad.
How do you see your experience reflected in your vignette?
Well, one of the many experiences that I have had with mental health is there's a kid in my class who deals with autism, and I see a lot of people making fun of him behind his, and like talking about him behind his back, gossiping about him, and like it's a big problem even in Meyzeek. So I just wanted to address that issue.
Okay, thank you for doing this interview.
Hey guys, are you excited for AP selection today?
Excited for what? AP selection? They're not gonna pick me anyway.
Yeah, they never pick us.
Oh, come on, your guys will probably make it.
Whatever.
Hey!
It's not them.
Attention, Meyzeek staff! Can you please send the students that have been selected for AP to the auditorium?
Katie, Brianna, Stuart, and Victoria, if you can report to the auditorium, please.
AJ, what did I tell you? I told you you wanted to play your picks.
Now that you think about it, you're sort of right.
I wonder why. Really?
Oh my God, seeing all my friends moved into a different class too.
I mean, that's because they're in AP. They're where the smart kids are.
Smart.
Oh, hey, Katie, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Katie. How you doing?
Let's get to our class before it's too late, young ladies.
I know.
See you
I
later.
said go to
See you
class.
later.
OMG, hey look, there's DeAndre.
Oh my God, hi DeAndre.
I heard you moved up to Cleveland. That's
What do you think you're doing?
Just saying hi to DeAndre.
Ladies and gentlemen, you need to go to your classrooms.
But we,
Okay.
you were being so petty right now, but alright.
You're ready? You're high on free.
Why does school have to be so separated like this? I guess that's just the way it is.
So we're smart and we deserve a chance to show the school who we are.
Sometimes you just gotta deal with it.
It wouldn't be like that if the people in charge didn't want it to be like that.
Only 18% of high school students taking an AP test
are black. White students make up about 55% of the JCPS student population, but account for nearly 70% of kids in the gifted program and a little less taking AP tests.
Black students account for only 35% of the seats they would need to be fairly represented in gifted programs, among the worst ratios in the country.
77% of suspensions in JCPS were attributed to the suspension of black and brown youth.
70% to 80% of black youth tested in Louisville were not at grade level in core subject areas, enough to fill every seat at the Louisville Slugger Field.
Only 21%, 19%, and 13% in elementary, middle, and high, respectively, are proficient in math.
About 30% of JCPS students identify as black, but they make up only 16% of kids labeled gifted and talented in the district.
Why?
I am Elizabeth Farner interviewing
Katie Dykes with the Racism Group.
What is one thing you've learned about racism?
One thing I've learned about racism is that even though racism was wrong, I have also learned that you can't judge people just by the color of their skin, because they could be smarter, they could be more creative, they could be more advanced in a subject or topic, and people should be equal, and this color of their skin should not define who they are. And I think that that's one of the biggest things about racism, and because people think they're better than them, and then that's wrong. That shouldn't be true.
How has your understanding of racism changed?
Well, I think that when I first we started talking about it in elementary school and stuff, I first thought it was white people were really jerks to black people and stuff like that, but I think it affected other people besides black and white, because the thing that had on their I know black people were really scared and they had a lot of stuff, but if I think about the other people that lived near to them, other than that, I think that they would have struggled through that too. And I think it was really difficult for all people to deal with it, and I think that throughout the course of time, other people were really affected by it as well too.
How do you see your experiences reflected in your vignette?
Well, I personally think racism is bad, and to those people who out there who still think racism is good, which I don't understand how you can do that. This is a serious deal, and this should not be tolerated among the world. And people should know that we are all equal, we are all human, we are all the same. And no matter what the color of your skin is, you can still do great things.
Thank you very much.
I'm a member of the Justice League, an after-school program at Meyzeek Middle School in Louisville, Kentucky. As a group of students who work with artists through Ideas xLab, Our Emotional Wellbeing, to create this iMovie focused on bullying. We chose the topics, did storyboards, created the script, and filmed the iMovie together. COVID-19 happened before we were finished, so we got creative and continued collaborating through Zoom and respecting physical distance. Worked to film our last scene and call to action. We hope the movie impacts how you see bullying and your role in creating a positive change.
Hello, and my name is Katie with the Meyzeek Middle School Justice League. For this project, I chose the group racism, and I want everybody out there to know that it is wrong and we should not tolerate it. And we should support and we should be with people no matter what their skin color is.
Bullying has to stop. There's too many bad things in this world for bullying to continue.
Hi, my name is Veronica Muss, and my group Justice League is trying to prevent bullying and meanness. So you could do the same by just saying so little and making a big difference in someone's life.
Bullying needs to stop. It's making kids lose their life as they know it and making it worse. It needs to stop now.
Speak up. Bullying has to stop.
You can stop bullying by being nicer.
Don't be afraid to use your voice. There are always people being bullied and you should help them.
Hi, I'm Castle. Don't forget to be the difference. Thanks for stopping by.
Hi, I'm Jocelyn, and I want to tell all of you that everyone matters. All true. Every life has a balance. Everyone. Love is love. Black lives matter. And everyone deserves equality. Thank you for your
Hi, my name is Meyzeek. What I've learned as yesterday that things like bullying and mental illness are real, and other people are facing them every day. And it's taught me how to handle it, and it's been a very good experience overall to be in this school. Bye.
See the difference. Speak up.
Speak up and stop bullying.
Be the difference.
Hi, my name is Gaurav, and I joined Justice League because I saw bullying in my school, and I decided that's probably not good, so you should stop bullying too. Join me!
Stop bullying. Don't be racist.
We, the students, need to stand up for ourselves and stop the bullying. We are the ones that need to do it. We need to have the power. Be the difference. Speak up!
Great, my locker was right. Somewhere on my wall.
Let me check if this is loud enough.
Maybe a little bit louder.
Considering it's the max volume.
So that they're actually only going to feel like the
Oh, okay.
You
Yes.
Let me know when you're ready.
What?
We want to see who's louder. This is a yelling competition.
What is happening?
He's reading the story and we're gonna analyze. Now on our iCam list is from the story that we were reading in class today. The story is called I Killed a Goat and My Grandma Dropped Out. Now you're gonna read the first two paragraphs. Okay, first of all, I'm thinking about navigating the Dr. B. That's not what we're
Okay.
doing, guys.
You all feeling about this project?
Stop.
What? You're choking me right now. You don't feel good at all? What do you mean, bro? This is going great. I want you to tell me how you think about this project so far.
It's great. I love it.
I'm not sure about the vision. Let me see.
What's your thought? You didn't say anything.
Fun.
Fun. That's good.
I really made that weird person.
That doesn't affect me.
Yeah. No. That's a blue. Whoa! Whoa! That's a no bueno! Stop. Okay, what's the shot I need to get? Like, where should I be?
Oh my God, racism yet?
You want to kick your car?
Why school gotta be so segregated like this? I think it's just the way it is.
Well, we're smart and we deserve a chance to show the school who we are.
Yeah, I don't think the school cares, and sometimes you just gotta suck it up and deal with it.
But it doesn't have to be that way if the people in charge don't want it to be that way.
Well, you know, the people in charge are all white, rich slobs, so.
Cut.
Just don't go.
I'm so sorry.
That's a blooper. That's a blooper. So he said, like, they're all just the rich white slob, and it's not on the script.
Let's do it one more time and say it again. Just speak louder.
And don't say that line.
I'm so sorry.
That's definitely a blooper. Okay, what's our next scene? Next scene?
Wait, what? And then you said I know it's fun for every selection turn out like this. I missed a couple of my favorites.
Y'all ready to go
So wait, what's the best angle for this? Hi, Mr. O'Donnell. Break the camera.
You all give your extra specific instructions about what they are supposed to be doing during this scene. Right? You all know your lines, right? Right? Jackson is filming. Cal's talking. Have any questions about where you could be looking at or anything like that?
Bob.
I know that.
Ready.
Why, hello there.
There's that OG, there's some, can you do another take? I should.
Stop.
Please, you roll me.
Cut!
I'm doing good. I mean, as good as somebody can be doing in quarantine. So,
That's
how are
right.
you doing?
I'm maintaining. I'm doing pretty good. Doing a lot of work with getting ready just for the summer. Just getting a lot of work ready for transition again. Getting ready for the new season, really. So that is good. That is good. I'm glad you're doing well. And I'm glad to see you again. I know it's been a minute. But we wanted to just sit down with you as the lead director of our iMovie today and just kind of have a little powwow about the process and things like that. And so I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions and you just answer them honestly and in whatever fashion you want to. And we'll just roll with that. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, so one of the first questions I want to ask you is, when you think about the process of this project, how can you, as briefly as you know how can you describe how this project came to be? Like if you you were given an overview of how we came to, like from the beginning to getting started on it, and you know what I'm saying? Like, just give me a rundown of this process of how we got to this project.
So, if I remember correctly, we were just kind of like, everybody who joined Justice League, we all got into a room and they said, like, this year we're going to be collaborating with these artists. And they said, what do you guys want to do? And we had a list of like, I think it was like painting, iMovie, and then fashion show, and then a couple other things. And we decided it was kind of split between the fashion show and the iMovie. So we decided to make an iMovie with a fashion show at the end. And so we had nothing to go on. So we started with like just picking our topics, like what were we gonna do? So we decided to go off of bullying. And then we went on subtopics like LGBTQ, mental health, all that stuff. We adjusted our scripts and we did all of that. And the main reason why we don't have a topic for the first segment, except for just cyberbullying, is because the whole point of the cyberbullying thing is to be like, this is how the fashion show came to be. It's not just something that just happened. There's actually a story behind it and all that stuff. But every other thing has a subtopic, and so it's like it's just a bunch of people coming together with nothing but our own brains, pencil and paper, coming up with a script and an idea. Right. And you mentioned the script. So when you think about the construction of the script, would you say that you all made up scenes or that you all were retelling experiences that you or your friends have had when it comes to bullying? Well, personally, I haven't like gotten like bullied like in a sense of like extreme, like I've been teased and stuff, but I wouldn't consider it bullying compared to what other people have faced. So like I didn't really pull anything from like my personal experiences, but at the start we got to choose our like which vignette we wanted to work on. So I think like somebody part of the LGBTQ or somebody who knows somebody or does suffer from mental health would have gone to those subtopics to be like, yeah, so when I was like blah blah blah, this happened to me. So like I can say that maybe I wouldn't say most or not a lot, but I can say that there are some people's self experiences in the scripts. I would have to agree with you. I would have to agree with you on that. So then I would like to know next then, what led you to the cyberbullying vignette? Like what led you to that being the topic that you wanted to focus on? Well, the thing is, I really just chose something that this is hard to explain.
Would you say that it's something that exists? Cyberbullying is something that happens at school. Would you say that?
I mean, it's happened to some of my friends. Again, not extremely, but it was more than what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not as extreme as what happened to the person in the vignette, but
mm-hmm.
I chose it mainly because it was easy. Not easy, but it was good to work with, and you could get a lot of ideas from it and make a really excellent script from it. Like we started with a bunch of stuff in school, but then coronavirus happened, so we had to change it within like 2 weeks to an entirely texting and no inside of the school bullying. So it was kind of difficult because we had to change the entire script. We even changed the names of the people because I don't know why they just insisted on changing the names.
For the cyberbullying vignette?
Yeah, the cyberbullying vignette.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I just being able to move and adjust with it. But coming to that topic, and I like that you said that it covers a wide range. It can reach so many different spectrums and facets of bullying. And so I'm so glad that you said that. It's very important. Now, I remember very vividly the moment you stepped up. Okay, we was in the class. We were going over who was gonna do what. We were talking about roles. Who was gonna take what roles, and I observed how anxious and how excited and certain you were of yourself about being a lead director of this iMovie, and so I just remember you just almost to like turning red, like Miss Jazz, I need to be the lead director, and so what was that? What was it? Was it a personal experience? Was it just something like you just felt compelled, like I gotta do this, I know how to do this, I gotta do this because I want to make a big impact. I want to, like what was going through your head that moment when you were like, oh, I want to be lead director?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm not a control freak, but I do like having my inputs into stuff. But I'm also not like, I'm the person that's like, I'm fun to be around. Don't ask my friends because they might say otherwise, but I think that I'm fun to be around. But I can also get stuff done while being fun. Well, like other people either like can't get work. I'm not just calling out other people, but like you can see some people who want to do this stuff and they'll be like not serious enough to do it. I mean, I'm not serious at all, but I can still get it done. You know what I'm saying? But also, my mom's also a coach. Used to be a coach for like Louisville golf. So like being a leader is kind of like. Also, my dad's the founder of Wild Eggs, so like being a leader is like kind of in my bloodline, So I was just like, this is my time to shine.
It was like this is you stepping into your role of leadership. Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you about that, and I agree that even in the scenarios where you're just being a 7th grader, everything is funny in 7th grade, that I would have to agree that you did get stuff done, because I think that there were times where people want to take leadership roles and they either really wasn't meeting the vision or they weren't they couldn't stay focused. They would get off on a tangent. But I would have to agree that when you decided to be director, that I felt like, although it seemed like a little bit of organized chaos, you would make sure stuff was done. So I have to agree with you on that. And I would have to say you did a great job as a director. And that's me just watching. So I just wanted to share that with you as well. So the next thing I want to ask you is, do you feel like this iMovie will be impactful? And specifically, what I mean is, do you believe that this iMovie will be impactful for something specifically to what you want to do in the future? Like whether it's the process, whether it's what we talked about. Like, do you feel like this experience, this collaboration in itself, and this project itself, do you see it being an asset to your future?
Well, I'm not specifically looking to go into like the movie making business and being like a director and that stuff, but I have thought about it being a possibility for me to be like an editor or somebody in like a power position in the filmmaking industry. Like I've definitely thought about it. So doing this helped me like realize some of my like areas where I can work on and some of my areas where I'm really good at. So if I ever do decide to go into like one of those industries and places to be like a filmmaker, I like know what to work on and what I can improve to be the best I can when I'm doing that stuff.
Right. Ooh, that was a good answer. That was really good.
Thank you.
Okay. So my next question is, what have you learned in the mindset of hope and belonging? So what I'm trying to ask is, what have you learned in connection with hope and belonging that is related to hope and belonging throughout this process?
Well, are you asking like
whether it's from the topics to the process?
Like how do I feel about the topics we chose compared to like belonging stuff?
How do you feel about the topics and the process of putting this together in regards to hope and belonging? And I'll ask you this. What do you feel hope and belonging means? What does that mean to you?
Well, hope and belonging.
How does that relate to this project? That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't know the exact definition, and I know you're not asking for the exact definition, but I would say that hope is like the feeling that like it's not time to give up. You can still like finish it. You can still continue on and do stuff. And then belonging is just the feeling that you're accepted, you belong there, you're not getting pushed away, which in correlation to the movie or the film, can't really call it a movie, it's not that long. So in correlation to the film, I feel that like most, like if not every single one has showcases of hope and belonging, like people getting pushed out, but they don't like give up yet. That's the whole point at the end arc where they sign up for this talent show. The fashion show, the fashion show where they're like, this can help change it. I feel like if I go to this, I belong there. I hope like this is my hope. Like this is how I make the change in this film.
That's nice. Would you say that if young people watch this video, watch our iMovie, that it has the potential to change something? If not, even if this is minuscule as bringing awareness, in that sense, or bringing things to people's attention, would you say it has that potential to make an impact?
Any film has a potential to be great and show people like different aspects of life. Now, I'm not everybody, but if I was like affected by one of these subtopics or I was a bully myself, I personally don't know because I'm not in those shoes. But I think that it would somehow affect me, and it might not be like super deliberate and just make me stop or accept myself, but it would definitely help me from what position I was in before I watched it. I feel that it can have an impact if people take it the right way, and not the fact that it wasn't an amazing studio film, like
production,
important film, but it was a group of students in a school with an iPhone, and like 95% of it was run by students, like just trying to get the word out there, having fun. Like if they take it in the light that people really tried to send a message through this, I think it can affect people.
Yes. That's amazing. And I would have to agree to the extent of at least making people feel like they have an option. if somebody's in that situation, it may be hard for them to see that there's another way to live, that there may be something on the other side of all of this that you're experiencing. And I think at the very least that, you know, that there's a possibility for people to take that away. So I'm glad that you said that. There's a few more while I think we're getting down to the end of our interview. What was it like to collaborate with artists? Well, what was it like to collaborate with Jazzy J and Sean Wade and Hannah Drake and Josh and Chris and all of the artists?
Yeah, well, I mean, I cannot say I've done it before. I mean, the closest I've ever been to be like actually collaborating with an artist was when my sister wrote a book that got published. It's called Goodnight Louisville. But I've never actually done a project that's taken this long, and I've never really worked together with artists like you guys that have actually like done like past projects and actually have done like serious things. The fact where like people like could know your name, like I've never done that before, and I thought it was really great to actually to have help and like work with people in the field of like art and stuff like that.
Cool. Well, thank you. I'd like to say thank you. It was an honor. So I have one more question for you.
Okay.
How do you feel COVID-19 impacted this project?
Well, like I listed earlier in the interview, we did not finish filming cyberbullying. So we had 2 weeks to completely change the script, and I did some like outside work with 2 students, Lee and Katie. So I think they did a really good job. We also did not film the fashion show either. So we kind of like had to ditch the idea of an actual fashion show, and everybody just got these shirts where it says like be the difference, like speak up and stuff. So everybody got these shirts, and then some people stayed at their houses that they couldn't make it, but most people came down to the school and like stood under this tarp because it was raining, and I filmed them, and they said some like a couple words about bullying or their vignette in particular. So I think it really just made it more of like a down to earth experience where it's like this is actually happening. So it's like okay, so this scenario, like yeah, it's made up, but it can still actually happen. And then you come to the part where we had to like film outside of the script and the fashion show where it's like this is actually happening. We're real people, like this is what we actually think. It made it more down to earth where like if it was in the movie, people are like, okay, it's a script, they're saying it. But we didn't give them a script during the like when they were under the tarp at their house. We didn't give them a script. We told them, say what comes to mind, say something about bullying, say something about your vignette. Nobody got a script. It was all of us just saying what we thought.
Yeah. Wow. And that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. Just our ability to adjust and to adapt.
Yeah.
During these times, because this is definitely a phase and a time of adapting and adjusting. And so, you know, I know that it seemed like for us as artists, we were just kind of ripped away from the kids. You know, it was kind of hard for us. I would have to say it was hard. We were on a road. We were almost done. And so I'm glad that you said that. And that concludes our interview. Thank you so much. That was an amazing interview. And thank you for stepping up. Thank you for taking on the role as the lead director.
No
and working and collaborating with the young people, with your peers, and with us as artists. And have a great summer.
You too.
I'll see you again, but you have a most amazing summer for sure.
Okay. So, I'm gonna stop recording now then.